Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Dead End Sports Podcast. This is a weekly sports podcast. We like to call it the best couple of hours of your sports week. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, 12 Kyle. And again, this is Dead End Sports. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Of course, I will not be doing this podcast alone. Joining me are the homies. First up, my man Beezy, 430. Beezy, what up, though?
Damn it. Oh, I'm watching right now live as we're recording this Tuesday night. Watching Duke and Michigan State game, one of the college tip-off games tonight.
True.
Grayson Allen just did y'all in, man. Wow.
And so, like right when Kyle kicked it up to me, they hit a three, like bam, and that tipped me off. But yeah, man, yeah, everything good. Just checking out this college. Glad college basketball is back. Hoping my Spartans, they rank number 2 right now to start off the season, so hopefully they can stay up that high.
Yeah, Sparties look coming in the season looking good, man. Also joining us is the homie Ken. Ken, what up, man?
Man, what a tough way to start off the college basketball season with a Duke win. Yuck. Yuck. But I got to give it up to Grayson, man. That was a big time 3-pointer he hit. Mr. White Privilege himself. Yeah, man, everything is good, man. Back from LA. So
yeah, how was LA, man?
It was dope, man. Yeah, it was fun. It was dope. We had a good time up there. Took care of some things. Recorded video with company, man. Y'all go check that out. It's on the Dead End Hip Hop.
That was dope. I disagree with a lot of stuff was there, but it was a dope video.
Yeah, Lupe. So did Lupe.
Oh, for real? Lupe actually said something about it?
Yeah, he did. He messed with company, man. So he recorded a Superfacts IG. B told us about it, and we ended up watching it, and yeah, he took umbrage with something Mike said when he referred to the artist as my artist. So yeah, typical Lupe, man. But yeah,
I love it. I got to go check that out.
Yeah, if it's still up. If it's not, let me know. I record. I got the audio. I'll shoot it over to you.
Okay. Cool.
People be deleting stuff and acting like it didn't exist or they didn't say it. So you gotta have that document. Gotta have those receipts.
Oh yeah, hey, man, that's what it's all about. People bringing receipts, man. Yeah, I got a chance to check it out. Shout out to Company Man and all Def Digital, man. They do a great job over there, man.
Style.
Great job over there. Yeah.
So if y'all. Yeah, so if y'all listening to this, the podcast episode just talking about, our experience up there will be out tomorrow on Is the Mic Still On? So make sure you guys subscribe to that and check it out and hear about the adventures in LA. So that'll be live tomorrow.
True indeed. And the homie FIFO is coming through in just a few, so we'll get it cracking, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Like Ken said, they were in LA last week, so we did not have a podcast. So this is our first time coming back in the last 2 weeks. So let's get it started, man. B, I'll start first with you. What stood out to you, whether it be Major League Baseball, college football, NBA, or NFL this past week?
Auburn's putting the stump down on Georgia.
Yes.
Putting the stump down on Georgia. And it was funny because as that game was going, Ken was like, yep, FIFO, this is why you never trust Georgia teams. Like, this was the game that was going to pretty much get them over the hump. They got past Auburn. We was looking at it pretty much a clash of the undefeated in the SEC championship game between Alabama and Georgia. And speaking of Alabama, they caught them a scare against Mississippi State. Man, Nick Saban was out there having all types of almost heart attacks. Not to be joking saying that, because I know people listening that has family members that suffered a heart attack or anything like that, but just the expression of his face and the way he was looking, I thought he was about to go out there and fight somebody. So yeah, Alabama caught a scary one. What's another one that stood out? My Pistons, are they for real? It's like I'm sitting back waiting. I'm sitting back waiting for them to like come back to reality and be like a 500, a little bit under 500 team. But they right now sitting with the second best record in the East, tied for the second best record in the NBA with along with Golden State and Houston Rockets, which is crazy to me right now. So yeah, that's the thing that stood out, man. Yeah, that college football, man. Georgia and Auburn, man. I was just like, wow, like Georgia had it. I mean, they still gonna end up probably playing in the SEC championship game because they have the best record in the SEC East. But yeah, this sucks the life out of them now. Unless they can beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, is the only way I can see them making making the playoff. But other than that, dang, Georgia. And this also makes it very interesting for Auburn and Alabama in 2 weeks because now Auburn Auburn, they got some confidence now. You know what I'm saying? They playing with a lot of confidence. And now this Iron Bowl is gonna mean a lot more now going into this in a couple of weeks. The week of, I think it's gonna be Thanksgiving weekend when they play each other. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that Auburn and Alabama game, and it's gonna be at Auburn too. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Jordan here will be rocking.
Yeah, it's gonna be rocking, man. So yeah, that's the stuff that stood out for me this weekend in sports.
Okay. Ken, what about you? What stood out to you across the board this past week?
Well, first, the first thing is Florida. I'm not Florida, but Fort Valley State University losing to Tuskegee for the SEAC championship.
Ooh.
Yeah, that game was on ESPN3. We have family members that are alumni there, so they were watching that over the weekend, and yeah, it was like, last I heard it was 12-9 with like 2-something minutes to go. So that was the last score I heard. I don't know the official score, but it don't matter. They lost. But salute to them boys, man, because I mean, they back to back, man. They had a chance to go back to back, and I remember the coach that they had before. He just couldn't win the big game. Like, he would always need to win that one game to get to the final, to get to the championship, and he could never win the big game. And they replaced him with the new guy they have, who used to be a DB. I think he used to play in the NFL for the Jets and the Chiefs. And yeah, since he came on board, they won it last year, and this year they had a chance to win it again. They have a tendency to start off slow and finish strong, and they did that again this year. So salute to them. But yeah, that was a tough loss for them. Jacoby Brissett, man, I gotta salute that brother, man. I'm not watching football, but I look at the box scores, man, and I gotta say, man, that brother's doing his thing on a team that really isn't all that good. So he seems to be handling himself really, really well. He was thrown into a situation in which I think he wasn't prepared to succeed. And if I'm the Buffalo Bills, we know Tyrod Taylor ain't it. So unless y'all get a quarterback, man, somebody need to be looking at him. Unless Luck, because Luck will be back next year. So salute to that brother.
We think Luck will be back next year.
Right. Yeah. Probably one of the best games of the weekend, Miami smashing Notre Dame. Miami smashing Notre Dame, because everybody jumped on that Notre Dame bandwagon, as they do every single year, knowing good and damn well Notre Dame is not deserving of the credit that they always get. They're living off this legacy, this pedigree that they had in the past, and those days are over, man. So salute to Miami for coming back and doing their thing. But we had Mark Richt before here in Georgia. He's setting y'all up. He's setting y'all up for heartbreak. So enjoy it now. But right when you think you onto something, you're gonna lose that game you shouldn't have lost, and it may happen this weekend.
Every year,
and every year, man. We've been through this before. Back to what B was saying, man. Kirby Smart, man. Everybody was thinking he was the one, and then he got smashed. I don't have much to add on that, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. And triple double nothing, man. Triple double nothing. LonzNo Ball became the youngest player to score a triple double, and people act like that means something because he surpassed LeBron for the record. Man, triple doubles are great, but they're losing like what they really used to mean back in the day because everybody seemed to be getting them now. And that's a great accomplishment by LonzNo Ball. But when we saw LeBron, we knew he had it. When you watch Dennis Smith play, you know he got it. When you see De'Aaron Fox, you're like, man, that boy got it. But when you watch Lonzo, we like, I don't know. So him getting a triple-double, I mean, anybody can get one nowadays. So I don't think people should jump all over that and look at that as a projection.
Hey, Ken.
What's up, B?
Hey, give me. I know you said you wanted to touch on like what you saw when y'all went to the Lakers game when y'all was at LA during the weekend. You said you saw something in him and like the crowd saw it too. What was that?
So, all right. So he has no emotion. He has like he doesn't care. He has Jay Cutler syndrome. Ooh. And what I mean by that is that people used to always say that Jay Cutler throw a turnover and it looked like he didn't, like the game didn't matter to him. LonzNo Ball is very stoic, very reserved. He doesn't get up or he doesn't get down. So one of the things that I noticed was that during a timeout, when he wasn't in the game, he was just sitting on the bench. He's not interacting with his teammates and doing any of that stuff. He's just there. He's not in the huddle. He's not talking to the coach. The way you see him play on the court is the way he always is. Just no sense of urgency, no aggression, no leadership qualities, nothing at all. So when Jason Kidd kind of scoffed at them making that comparison on First Take and said it wasn't even close or whatever he said, he's right. Because Lonzo is the complete opposite of his dad. If you gave Lonzo his dad's personality, Lonzo would be out there killing it some kind of way. But he was passing up open like B. And if you watch the game, it was in the third or fourth quarter, and he came around the corner and he was wide open for a mid-range shot, and he kind of semi-pump fake and then shoot the ball and passed it. I'm like, Raph and I, we like, what are you doing? So that's that. But we already knew he was passing. But to watch it play out live is like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, so that's that. And the other,
And you know what I hate too. I don't mean to cut you off. Like,
no, you're good.
They showed, Lonzo Ball's first 8 games, and then they showed Jason Kidd 8 games, and the stats, and they was like pretty identical. But you can't, add in the intangibles that Jason Kidd brought. Like, yeah, they stats was the same and a little bit better percentage. But Jason Kidd, even as a rookie, you can tell he was a leader. Like you said, he was in teammates' face. He was playing aggressive, even though he was shooting 20-something%. He was still making plays without scoring. And it's like we're not seeing that same urgency with Lonzo Ball. Yeah, they got the same exact stats their first 8 games. But we all know, me and you, we all know when you watching ball, Jason Kidd that game, regardless if he shot 14%, he can still take over the game without even scoring. That's because Jason Kidd was just that dynamic. So yeah, that comparison was like, I would have laughed too if I was Jason Kidd. Like,
yeah, that was hilarious, man. And the thing about it is that like when Jason Kidd and Kyle, you may remember this, B, you may remember it a little bit. Jason Kidd was that dude in when I was in high school.
Oh, no question.
People talked about him when he was in college. So he had a fan base. Yeah, Lonzo didn't have that and I'm talking about, I'm in Mississippi, and we didn't have all the games like that, right? But you heard about Jason Kidd all the way in Meridian, Mississippi. So Lonzo was hyped by his dad in college, and we have all this media that kind of covers it and put these guys on this pedestal in the forefront of these guys to watch. But back then, your game and your reputation is what carried you and got you noticed. And when you came to the NBA, we already heard about you because we didn't get a chance to see you play. So we're in front of the whenever we got a chance to watch you play, we're watching you play. And that was the thing about Kidd. He had a high motor. The last thing about what I noticed is that LA really wants him to win, but they're growing frustrated. They're becoming tired, and Kuzma is the one that they're starting to really get behind because Kuzma is very aggressive. Kuzma think he the best player on the court. Kuzma think he the best player on the court. And he says some things about, like, he thinks highly of himself and his game. Like, he wants to be up there with the LeBrons and the KD. We don't know if he has the talent to do it, but his mindset is there. And the crowd loves Kuzma. And they want Lonzo to be that guy. And they're trying to root him on and cheer him and give him that energy, but he's not receiving it. And meanwhile, he's losing favor to Kyle Kuzma. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to give him his 30 games like somebody asked me on Twitter. But how long does it take for us to know what's what, man?
That's a good point. It's I've heard, you know, what you said really has been kind of resonating around the NBA community. I think his personality and we'll talk a little bit more about all in the Ball family a little later in the podcast. But yeah, he's a laid back kind of dude, and it's, you know, I guess it translates to the court. I guess I don't know, but that's if you observe that. And fans already observing that, and I do agree with you. You know, people do want to see this kid win, or at least some people. At least LA. Let me rephrase that. LA fans want to see him win. So, but yeah, we'll talk about the Ball family in just a few. Let's see what stood out to me over the weekend, like this past week, in college basketball. My man Patrick Ewing got his first win at Georgetown, so salute to him. In Major League Baseball, my man Aaron Judge, you guys know I'm a Yankees fan. Aaron Judge ran away with the American League Rookie of the Year, so salute to him. College football, Butch Jones is out at Tennessee. I think Stevie Wonder saw it coming. Butch Jones really sounded surprised that he got fired, but he hadn't won any game. He really didn't win like they had expected him to, and you know, he's just another guy. And so Tennessee is now searching for a new head coach. Also in college football, and being a Florida State fan, I hate to admit this, but Ken, you can appreciate this, man. The turnover chain. Miami with the 36-inch Figueroa turnover chain. It's the rave of college football. And, you know, I mean, as much as I hate Miami, as much as I want them to lose, when that turnover chain comes out, man, they get amped. I mean, like, it's something to play for, and it's something that's brought a level of excitement to Miami. And I keep hearing people say, "Is the U back?" No, the U ain't back. Miami's back, but I don't think we can ever call them the U, because the U, you know, that era of Miami football was something totally different from what we see now. But
it needs to be retired.
Yeah, exactly. You got to, because you'll never have that kind of, you know, swagger or those kind of athletes, you know, all on one team. But yeah, man, the turnover chain, man, as much as I hate Miami, the turnover chain is kind of hype. NBA, what stood out? Interesting stat I saw the other day. LeBron. Now, LeBron turns 33, I think, next month. He's averaging 38.3 minutes a game. This is his highest mark since the 2010-2011 season with Miami. That's a lot of minutes. You know, that's something I'm going to keep my eye on. And I know he's probably having to log more minutes now because with Isaiah Thomas being out. But that's a lot of minutes for a guy. And LeBron has a lot of mileage on it. Now, he's a tremendous athlete, so I think he'll be okay. But my concern, if there is one, is for LeBron come May and June, playoff time. You know, these minutes could take its toll on him as they push, you know, toward the Eastern Conference Finals as well as the NBA Finals. NFL, a couple of things stood out to me. Welcome back, Teddy Bridgewater, man. Salute to that brother, man. I saw him this past weekend on TV in tears just before the Redskins played the Minnesota Vikings. You guys remember Teddy Bridgewater had a horrific knee injury. There were some reports that if he had not gotten the medical attention that he did as quickly as he did, he could have died on the field, you know, from the loss of blood and just the destruction that he had in his knee. You know, his doctors originally said they would be surprised if he walked again, let alone be playing again. But there he was on the sideline, suited up, He is now the backup quarterback, but he's been activated. So, the Vikings at some point, I don't know if they're necessarily looking to get rid of Case Keenum just yet, but at some point Teddy Bridgewater is going to play this year. So salute to that brother for making it back. As much as I hate to say it, man, the Saints, nobody's talking about the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints are 7-2. They lost their first 2 games, and they're on a 7-game winning streak, and they're doing it running the ball and playing defense. I haven't seen the Saints play defense in years like this. So, people are talking Philly, man, but you can't sleep on the Saints right now. They got it rolling. In New York, McAdoo, or I call him McAdon't. McAdoo's done. Head coach, New York Giants, he's done. I'm surprised that the Giants have not fired this man already. I think that the Giants is not a knee-jerk reaction type of team, so they're probably going to let him, stay there until the end of the season. But the Giants have just been a train wreck, and I just remember watching a press conference the other day, and they asked McAdoo what did he say to his team at halftime, and he didn't say anything, and he was just speechless. And so he's going to get canned. Ken, we pro brother. They got the Giants have a brother GM, Jerry Reese, who's been the GM for the last 11 years. I'm pretty sure he's going to be let go as well. Salute to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan this weekend became the 19th quarterback to pass for 40,000 yards, and he did it in 151 games. So he was the quickest player to do that. So he's on a pretty quick path. But none of that stuff matters unless he gets a Super Bowl ring. And speaking of the Falcons, man, shout out to Adrian Claiborne, 6 sacks. Now against the Cowboys. Now we know that Ezekiel Elliott is on this suspension. And did Dallas miss Ezekiel Elliott? Of course they did. But it looked to me more like they really missed Tyron Smith, the left tackle, the all-pro left tackle for the Cowboys. His replacement, Adrian Claiborne, beat him like a drum, sacked Dak Prescott 6 times. I think the Falcons had 8 sacks. Adrian Claiborne was 1 sack shy of the of Derek Thomas's sack record. And now here's the thing that you got to keep in mind: Adrian Claiborne has only had more than 6 sacks in one season of his 7 years in the NFL, and he got 6 this past Sunday against the Cowboys. So salute to him. And last but not least, man, sometimes this is good to know people. Many of you listening, you guys are familiar with what's going on with Meek Mill and his case as far as going back to jail. But they had a rally yesterday in Philadelphia for Meek Mill. And who shows up to the rally but the legendary Dr. J? So, hey, man, sometimes it's good to know people. It's good to have people come and represent on your behalf. We don't know how the case is going to play out for Meek, but if you can get sports idols like Dr. J in the city of Philadelphia to come step out and rep for you, you might have a chance. So now before I forget, last point that I wanted to make, shout out and salute to Colin Kaepernick. He was named, GQ's Citizen of the Year. So while he does not have a job, that is a great honor. And it's great to be recognized, considering his circumstances, but he has been recognized by GQ magazine Citizen of the Year. Now let's take it to the NFL. Since we last spoke, Roger Goodell and Jerry Jones. Well, Roger Goodell is actually in the process of trying to renegotiate his contract with the NFL. And Jerry Jones is, being a player hater. Jerry Jones is, he's got an axe to grind with Roger Goodell. So Jerry Jones, who actually advocated for Roger Goodell this past summer at the owners meeting, but you can put 2 and 2 together. Jerry Jones was, told that Ezekiel Elliott wouldn't get suspended. Zeke gets suspended. Jerry turns and reverses the other way. So now he is hell bent, and even has gone as far to insinuate that he could possibly sue the other owners if they let Roger Goodell's new contract go through. So with that being said, B, how do you think this thing is going to play out, man?
Oh, that if Goodell going to get his 50 mil?
Well, not just that, but I mean, as far as what the beef, or if you will, a conflict between he and Jerry Jones, how do you think all of that's going to play out?
I think it's just the whole beef thing between, I think Jerry Jones is not getting his way with the whole Ezekiel Elliott situation, and I think Jerry Jones is being a big billionaire crybaby at that. But Roger Goodell demands for his contract. That's crazy, dude. Lifetime jet and lifetime family insurance, man.
Yeah,
it's like
Roger Goodell is asking for a contract that will pay him $50 million a year.
$50 million a year,
and that he
in a
will
lifetime of a private jet.
Lifetime use of a private jet.
I would too. I sure damn would.
As well as lifetime free
and a lifetime supply of fried chicken.
But yeah, man, I just think I think Jerry Jones is kind of showing his billionaire crybaby ways, man, with this whole situation. This is because he's not getting his way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if it was any, because this thing, like you said, he was just praising this dude. Great job of Goodell doing a, awesome job with the whole, with the NFL and stuff. You was just praising this man months ago. And I think he said some good things about him even last year too. And it's like now all of a sudden you taking all that back because you're not getting your way. It's like, come on, man. So yeah, I just look at it as he just being a billionaire crybaby. Just man up. Look, if anything, Ezekiel should have took that punt, that 6-game suspension. He'd have been back already balling. Get it out the way. Let him, chalk that up, lesson learned, and keep it going. But it's just, I think it's just Jerry Jones being a big old baby, man. Just because he's not getting his way.
Ken, how do you think this thing's gonna shape out, man?
I think the reasons why he's trying to sue them is a little ridiculous. So if he's trying to sue them over Goodell's contract and the way this is being handled, I don't know if that'll work. Now, will Jerry Jones try and do it because he think he can? Absolutely. He's one of the only GMs that we hear from on a day-to-day basis, which is absolutely ridiculous. But that's who he is, and that's part of his marketing strategy. But what I do like most about this whole situation is that I like that the owners are like, all right, man, enough's enough. We're sick of this. This is getting ridiculous. So we're going to kick you out. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? And that was it. They're not letting him bully Goodell or the NFL, and they're saying that you're not bigger than the rest of us. And look, man, we all know how negotiations go. So that whole thing about the jet and the health, look, they're going to make $18 billion. And
billion with a B.
Yeah. What's $50 million if I'm making that happen? That's probably nothing for them. That's probably $50,000, salary or something like that. So nah, man, they'll be, fine in paying that. I would ask for $50 million if I was him too. Because I'm making you. It's all about that thing, right? Where you just happen to see somebody else's paycheck, and you start, and you know about counting other people's money. You shouldn't do it, but Goodell is aware of how much money these people are making that he's about to make them, and he's been a part of that, and he feels like he needs to get his cut. And I don't blame him. I'll ask for it too. So yeah, give me the private jet for life is a little extreme, but I don't know. They can afford it. They can afford it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. And maybe I've never flown privately, but I heard it's pretty dope. And Raj is about that life, man. He ain't trying to go back. He ain't trying to be sitting in the back of the plane. I'm pretty sure anytime he flies first class. But it's like when you flying and you used to fly the back of the plane, and then when you could afford to fly first class, you start flying first class. And once you start flying first class, you ain't really trying to go back to coach. So I get it. And then here's the thing too that I really understand. It goes without saying. Anytime, like you said, Ken, with negotiations, it ain't about what you're worth. It's about what somebody's willing to pay. So Raj is out here taking these bullets for these players. He has to play the middleman, because he has been hard on the players. We've seen him come down with an iron fist, and we've also seen him take some L's in court. And he's also taken the brunt of the PR, the bad PR, if you will, and negative criticism as well. So, so he's seen both sides of it. And I think, he drew a line in the sand when he said, look, I'm not going to stop these players. I'm not going to draw up anything to make them stand. It's not a part of our, what we have written. And so I'm not going to make them do that. And that drew the ire of a lot of owners, and Jerry Jones in particular. And so, he's asking for a lot. And I find it interesting that he wants basically free health care for he and his family for the rest of his life, when, the players that are playing that we watch every Sunday don't get that. Yeah. The players that we're watching, they don't get free health care for the rest of their life. In fact, the NFL goes out of its way to prove that the injuries that most of these players they have, they can't get, you got to really jump through a whole bunch of hoops just to prove that the injuries that you have, you didn't have them prior to you playing football. So, I get why he's asking for that. But I think, Jerry Jones is just being a hater, man. I mean, he's being a hater. And none of this would have happened had not Zeke been suspended. But Zeke got suspended because of what he did. He didn't get suspended because of something else. And, Jerry Jones is not about accountability. We saw him do the same thing with Greg Hardy. He was out there defending Greg Hardy and going to bat for Greg Hardy. And then these pictures show up where Greg Hardy just beat the shit out of this woman. And, and then he didn't have anything to say. So Jerry Jones is about the cow. And I said this on the previous podcast, and I'll say it again. He's about himself. He's about his money, and he's about the Cowboys. That's it. And, the other owners basically have said, look, if you sue us, we'll put you in a situation where you're like Donald Sterling, where we'll take the Cowboys from you. Now, that would be a legal battle that he probably would take to his grave. I don't think that would happen. Sterling, you had a really strong case for taking his team from it. And to be honest, I'm still surprised that they were able to pull it off. And different scenarios, different sports. But Jones is being a hater, man. I think the way this thing will eventually play out is that, Goodell's going to get his contract done, because basically to stop the contract from happening, they need the signature of 24 owners. And I think right now, Jerry Jones has two owners, two of the 32 owners in his corner. So he doesn't have enough votes basically to stop this. So it's going to happen. And, the compensation committee, who's headed by Falcons owner Arthur Blank, which was interesting because this past weekend, the Cowboys were here in town playing the Falcons, and Jerry Jones and Arthur Blank did not cross paths prior to the game nor after the game. So, and plus, Jerry Jones don't want no smoke, man. Arthur Blank beat the shit out of Jerry Jones. I mean, if we want to keep it real. So, in fact, I would be down for that. Rich folk don't fight. Rich folks good. They fight in court. They ain't about that throwing hands. But if I had to put money on it, I'm putting everything I got on Arthur Blank. As far as the NFL, man, we also NFL news. This past Thursday, we saw Richard Sherman go down with a torn Achilles. He is out for the season. We've seen a couple other stars, and this season, and it happens every year, but this season in particular, man, it seems like it's been a ton of the biggest stars of the game going down to injuries. So, anytime that happens, you start hearing a lot of talk about the Thursday night football games. Richard Sherman, Doug Baldwin, Ben Roethlisberger just yesterday we were saying, that they shouldn't be playing games on Thursday night. And normally when you start hearing this chatter, you know that this is going to be a point of contention when it comes to the new CBA when they go to negotiate. So, Ken, I'll start right there with you. I know you're not watching this season, but, two-part question. What do you think is going to happen in these Thursday night games? And when you were watching, did you watch Thursday night games?
No, I didn't watch Thursday night football. And I keep up with what's going on, like First Take and all the debate shows keep me abreast of everything that's happening. I just don't give the NFL my ratings, but I keep up with what's going on with the sport through other platforms and Twitter. But but Thursday night football is a disaster. And I'll just say that from a fantasy football perspective. Because I've been playing fantasy football for damn near 20 years now. And since they've introduced Thursday night football, it's been horrible to the point you don't even want to play any of your players that you have on your team on Thursday because you know that the game and their production is going to suffer. There's been plenty of conversation, plenty of think pieces. The players are speaking out. They're letting you know that Thursday night football games, a money grab, is impacting their ability to put out a quality product. And not only that, is putting their health at risk. And we need stars in order for some of us to even watch or care about the game.
Exactly what I was going to say.
So yeah, man, they gotta do something about that, man, because, just from the quality, right? Just from sitting there watching it, it's tough. It's tough for those guys to get out there and to recover and then to play another game 3 or 4 days later. Practice is rough. They don't have time to prepare properly. Their bodies haven't fully healed. So, yeah, Thursday night football is horrible. I don't think they're going to end it anytime soon simply because it's another revenue stream for them. And, they'll continue to make that money. For the NFL, it's MOB.
Boy, you stupid. B, what about you, man? Thursday night games, man. How do you think this thing is going to shape out? And do you actually watch the games?
And if y'all don't know what that means, look. Hey, wait, hold on. If y'all don't know what that means, just look it up.
Yeah.
Oh, you went back.
I don't. Yeah. But I've never been a fan of Thursday night football. But of course, when money gets to talking and revenues get to talking, then what can you do? But I think they really gonna have to seriously look at this and see, for one, for the most part, the quality of football that you're getting is not good quality football.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ken said, you got guys that's playing that just play Sunday, and now you're asking them to recuperate within 3 days and play another bang out game, and then the chance of you suffering injuries is pretty high, and we just see that example with Richard Sherman. And other players have gotten injured on Thursday night football. It's insane, man. But, I agree with Kim, man. I don't think it's going away. As long as they bringing in, millions and billions of dollars, they're going to look at this like, well, why should we get rid of this? Because that's going to, we're going to lose some money. We're going to lose money if we do this. But you also quality of your product. And then if you keep doing this, your product fades away. You out there looking stupid. We need to have the superstars playing games so we can that makes people interested in watching the games when you had the superstars playing. Nobody want to watch the game when you got top notch guys. Not saying Aaron Rodgers got hurt on Thursday night. I'm just saying Aaron Rodgers out. Say if you just had a league where you had Aaron Rodgers out, Tom Brady out, John McCoy, Le'Veon Bell out. Like you just like all the players is just out, and it's like people is not gonna be interested in watching except for the diehard fans that just are your teams, but. Other than that, the casual fans gonna be like, well, oh man, I want to check out, see what Antonio Brown doing. Oh, he ain't playing. Well, I ain't about to watch this game. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think they should get rid of it, but I just don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon, unless something catastrophic happens with Thursday night product,
like Brady getting hurt.
Yeah, right. Like if a golden boy or something gets hurt on Thursday night football and Brady starts complaining, like Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, like if they start complaining about it, trust me, something will happen. But as of right now, they like, look, we making that money. Y'all getting that money, so let's keep getting this money. So we're not going to get rid of it.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think it's I can't even really say I watch Thursday night football. A lot of times, man, it's on. And for anybody at the end, and I'm pretty sure there's more than a few people at the NFL office that's listening to this podcast. Especially now that the NBA is back. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching Thursday night football. I have no reason to watch because I can watch a NBA game on TNT that's 3 times better and more exciting than whoever you got on Thursday night. Period. You give me a Thursday night lineup of any remaining games that's remaining for the rest of this season, and then you pair it up against whatever's on TNT that particular night. And I'm pretty sure, and TNT, and here's the thing that nobody's talking about, fellas. The NBA's ratings are up like 25% right now. 25%. So the NFL can't even say, well, our ratings are down because people have options. The same people got the same options. The thing is that you have a better product on the basketball court than you have on the football field on a Thursday night. I will think about it like this, guys. On a Thursday night, you got an NBA game, you have a college football game, and you have a basketball game. You got a basketball game, NFL, and NBA. So, it's not, I'm not watching, and it's not, I love football. It's not that I'm, anti-football or anything like that. It's just the quality of the play on Thursday nights are bad. Most of the time, I can almost tell you what's going to happen. Most of the time, the home team is going to win. It's going to be sloppy. It's going to be ugly. And what I've noticed is a trend is that the team who has whoever the home team is, they're usually that previous Sunday, they've usually played at home. So, that makes it that much easier for them. Think about it. If you're playing at home and you just had a home game on Sunday, at least you have somewhat of an advantage because, your preparation, everything like that, you're right there. But for the away team, they played at home on Sunday. Now they got, I can't even call it practice because you got a couple of days, you got to lift weights, got to do this, do that, film study the whole night. You're really not practicing between that and Thursday. You got to spend one day for travel. So it's not good. But I agree with you, Ken and B. It's not going anywhere until they negotiate it because, the bottom line is the owners make money off of Thursday night games. The players make money off Thursday night games, and nobody's trying to give up that bag. But at some point, you gotta throw caution to the wind. It's not good. And again, bro, I can watch the Clippers and OKC on Thursday night, and I will get more entertainment out of that game. And think about it like this: and going back to the NBA ratings, the NBA ratings generally aren't that high this time of year, right? Remember how we used to always say, man, yeah, the NBA season starts after, it starts Christmas. Not this year, brother. This year they are going head to head. Go to your Google machine and check it out. The NBA is doing major numbers right now. And, people can say, oh, it ain't about the protest. People they understand what's a good product. And right now, the NBA is winning. And I can't blame them. But Thursday night football, nah, man. I don't want any parts of it. It's not good. And if it's on, to be honest, if it's on in my house, it's background noise. I'm not paying attention to it. Now, if your team is playing B, if your Lions are playing, I'm pretty sure you'll watch. But, I don't want no parts of it. FIFA, what's going on, man?
I was on mute, my bad.
Okay, no, you're all good. We're talking about Thursday night football, man. What's your take on it? We've had a ton of players this year get injured. We saw Richard Sherman unfortunately blow out his Achilles on this past Thursday playing Thursday night football. But with the rash of injuries to these stars, there's been a lot of talk about, people wanting to get rid of Thursday night football. What's your take on it? And do you watch Thursday night football?
I don't watch Thursday night football. Like you said, Kyle, I definitely would rather watch a basketball game. And everybody that's listening to the show for as many years, or if you're brand new, I'm a basketball guy more so than a football guy. Football is secondary for me, so I always watch a better basketball or almost any basketball game over a football game. But no, I definitely think that they need to get rid of it, mainly because of the short week. Football is an extremely physical contact sport, and your body needs time to recover. If you just played, the previous week on Sunday, and then you have to play a Thursday game, that's not enough time for your body to recover. It's just not at that level. So you hit the nail on the head with all of the injuries, even outside of the Thursday night games. But obviously Richard Sherman getting hurt, it's a bad product. And like you said, the people the fans know what a good product is. They're going to place value. And if you don't follow the community, if you don't follow where the viewership is going and try to understand why they are moving toward that direction, then you're part of a culture that's going to die off eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And the NFL is at a disadvantage because this is the only country that enjoys that type of football. Like the Hispanics call it the Russian football.
Mm-hmm.
So the NFL needs to figure some things out. The NBA currently, we were talking about it during the summer that the NBA was winning the summer. Now they're winning the early part of the season. The NBA right now is a better product because they have more marketable stars. That, to me, that is the deciding factor as to why people are watching more basketball right now. And when me, Ken, and B, we be talking about basketball, sometimes, or everybody that I talk basketball with, they ask me, hey, what's going on with Cleveland and, Golden State? I'm watching the young guns. I'm watching Philly. I'm watching New York. I'm watching Sacramento. I'm watching Phoenix, as bad as they are. I'm watching the young talent that's in this league because they are truly captivating and they're ready to contribute right away. Where in the NFL, you don't have as many of those storylines. Yes, Carson Wentz is great. Yes, the quarterback from the LA Rams, what's his name? Jared Goff.
Jared Goff,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes, he had a bounce back sophomore season. You have a couple of storylines, but it's nothing like the NBA right now. And the NBA is just truly winning. And they need to get rid of Thursday night games because the NBA is beating their ass in terms of viewership on that day. And again, it's just not enough time to recover. It's just simply not. Now, if the NFL figured out a way to do it for every team coming off of a bye week the previous week,
right,
then okay, that makes sense. You had time off. Now you're, play Thursday. Cool. It is what it is. I don't know how hard that is to schedule. I'm not a scheduling guru. I just know that they need to either figure it out to give the players more rest for a Thursday night game or just get rid of it altogether.
That's a great point, man. And what people don't understand is that there are 32 teams in the league, and the way that they've scheduled it is that 30 of the 32 teams have to play a Thursday night game. So we're going to see damn near everybody in the league at one point in time play on a Thursday night. And it's not, like I said, it's not good football. And when for those of you listening, when you finish listening to this podcast, do me a favor, take 5 seconds to do. Go look at this upcoming Sunday schedule and see who's playing who. And make a mental note as to how many games that you would actually sit down, assuming that you had the league pass, that you would sit down and watch. Honestly, they're not a lot of marquee games, and the teams that we end up seeing on TV, for those of us who don't have the league pass, you keep seeing the same teams over. You're going to see Green Bay, you're going to see Dallas, you're going to see Patriots. You keep seeing the same teams over and over. Wherein in basketball, on a given night, you don't have to have the league pass. I don't have the league pass, but almost every night there is a very compelling game. And like FIFO said, when you're going head to head with the NFL, NBA on Monday nights, their viewership is up over Monday Night Football, which at one point in time would never happen. And right now they're killing Thursday Night Football. Like I said, NBA's ratings up 25% right now. And this is for a sport that people used to say didn't pick up until after Christmas. That's not the case. The NBA is winning, and from the looks of it, they're going to keep winning. Speaking of the NBA, perfect segue. Ball in the family. We haven't talked on here in 2 weeks, so it's been quite an eventful week. Eventful 2 weeks for the Ball family. As Ken alluded to earlier, Lonzo did get a triple-double. He was the youngest player in NBA history to ever record a triple-double. Lonzo's brother, LiAngelo, got into a bit of trouble. As you all know, his team, UCLA, was over in China getting ready to play Georgia Tech. LiAngelo and two of his other teammates allegedly stole some sheets from the Louis Vuitton store. And so this sparked a national controversy, and he was locked up, and 20 cops came to his room, and we're hearing all these kind of crazy stories. Well, he was over there for, I guess, for the better part of a week and a half or so, and we got notification today that after the fellow in the White House spoke to the president in China, that the players were released, so they are headed back, and if they haven't made it back to Los Angeles, they will be arriving shortly from China. Now, there's still, I guess, pending charges. I'm not sure how the legal system works from this point on, but it's been an eventful, last 2 weeks or so for the Ball family. Not to mention, Lonzo has struggled on the court, even though he had, like Ken said, he had the triple double. His shooting woes, I think his shooting percentage dropped down to like 27% these last couple of weeks. And there's been, talk amongst the so-called experts that maybe he should possibly change his shot or his release point of his shot, which I think at this point would be very difficult to do given the fact that the season just started. But I'll start right there, man. Before I'll start with you, since you got a chance to see him when you guys went out to LA. Give us your take on, this theft or this alleged theft, and what's going on with the shooting woes for your man Lonzo Ball.
Man, when it comes to LiAngelo and what happened in China, look, we all have been dumb and young, some more than others, and that was just a stupid thing. I don't understand. Like, you're at the high end stores. You ain't trying to steal nothing from Dollar General. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could get damn less. Like, what type of profit margin do they have? But when you're talking about Gucci, Fendi, Ferragamo, all of this stuff, you talking about like a pair of shoes cost you $5,000. A pair of sunglasses or regular glasses cost you $2,500. You don't think that they're gonna have some security in that money? You don't think they're gonna have some cameras? Like, come on, man. Like, that is not the move. I really don't understand. I'm talking about, like, look, man, LiAngelo, your younger brother drives a Lamborghini. You drive a Ferrari. What in the hell? Why do you need to be stealing anything? If you can't buy it, ask Big Bro, ask Dad, and if they can't get it for you, guess what? If and when you make the league, you could buy it for your damn self. So I don't understand. I'm glad that I think any president that was in the office had to make that same phone call Donald Trump made, because we're talking about UCLA, 3 basketball players. Like, if you're playing for a small school, that call probably doesn't get made. But this is a major NCAA Division I basketball team, players on that team. Like, yeah, that call's getting made. Now, in terms of Lonzo, me and Ken, while we were out there in LA, we got to catch a game, and man, he, and me and my brother, we were talking about this too. The Lonzo's biggest problem, I don't even think it's the jumper. It's the lack of aggression. And then when you try to pinpoint where that stems from, me and my brother, I think we just through talking and arguing basketball, I think we may have figured it out. Maybe he has just a lack of confidence at this level of basketball, because you got to think he's 6'5". He's always been a big guard. Through high school and college, he can out athletic you. He can do things on the court, get wherever he wants to go. And maybe at this level, he plays the likes of the Patrick Beverly the first night. He's played John Wall twice already, right? We're talking about premier point guards in the world, not just out of California, not just out of your little district in Chino Hills. We're talking about in the world. So maybe he's just not that confident right now. But again, he's had a triple double, youngest player to ever do so in the NBA. Also, he scored 29 points in his second or third game against the Phoenix Suns, that almost had a triple double that game. And then also, if you actually look at the shooting percentages from the field and also from three, and his stats through the first 12 or 13 games of the season, it's very comparable to Jason Kidd. He's pretty much one off in rebounds and assists, and like maybe 1 or 2 off in points, or right around the same. So if you look at this, and if you guys go back, I said that he's more of a Jason Kidd type player. Eventually, I think he'll figure it out, but I think for him to kind of just snap and put himself back into the company of the elite rookies this year, he needs to figure out how to be more aggressive. And what I was explaining to Ken when we were in LA, being more aggressive does not mean taking 35 shots a game. It means attacking the defense off of pick and roll situations. The way Lonzo likes to attack in the open court is to throw up the ball and put pressure on during the fast break for early shots and easy shots and things of that nature, right? I don't have no problems with that, but he has to understand the difference of when to push the ball via the pass and push the ball via the dribble. There's too often of a time that he's passing the ball up and there's nothing there. If you want to put pressure on the defense, then you have to manufacture that pressure in transition. And that doesn't mean with the pass, it means with the dribble. Even if you're looking to the pass, you might get a layup, you might get a pass, but he has to just be more aggressive. He's just way too passive. When I watch him, I get angry. I am a point guard. I feel like I'm one of I never made the NBA or nothing like that. But if you play with me, you know I'm an aggressive player. And when I'm too lackadaisical, whatever team I'm playing on suffers for that. And a lot of times the people I play with, they tell me, hey, Rob, hey, are you going to shoot? Because I'd rather be a pass first point guard. But guess what? When I'm aggressive, it's hard as hell to stop me, let alone my team. So I it just irks me to actually see how non-aggressive he is. He's just passing the ball and just standing and watching. When you watch Jordan Clarkson or Tyler Ennis, when they get into the game, if they make a pass, they're cutting through the lane, they're trying to get the ball back. Lonzo is watching the rest of the play after he makes one pass. That is not acceptable. He needs to understand. He needs to ratchet it up. The aggression needs to go up. And if I was Luke Walton during film study, I would have one-on-one with him. Hey, look, these possessions right here, I'm fine with you passing the ball. These 2-3 right here, you need to manufacture the pressure on the defense. So to me, it's a tweak. It's not wholesale changes. And I think people are either too fast or, to say, oh my God, he's a bust. I just think that he just needs to tweak his game. I think when we watch him and he gets time and he's playing with confidence, he obviously can play this game. He just needs to be more aggressive.
True indeed. What about you, B? The balls, man. Give us your take on LiAngelo's fiasco and the shooting woes for Lonzo.
Like that parody account said, LiAngelo, he took Ball's game. He stole his game. That's why he stole his shot. That's why Lonzo is having such a bad turnout in the NBA as of right now. But yeah, man, sometimes I try to give young dudes, kids the benefit of the doubt of making dumb decisions and stuff like that. But the situation that he's in, why would, like people said, you're in a high-end store. You think they ain't gonna know if someone's stealing their merchandise or not, man? What is wrong with you, dude? You have to make better decisions than this. I'm pretty sure your father has told you, all right? All of them. He probably told all his sons this because he know by them bringing a lot of attention to his sons, he's gonna be like, look, you guys gonna be in the spotlight a lot more than y'all used to now. So please pay attention and make good decisions on what you're doing. I'm pretty sure he's preached that to all three of his sons, man. And it's to see him go out there and make a bonehead move like this. It's come on, guy, what are you doing? But to say, and then with Lonzo, Ken, because Ken had mentioned it about him not having that aggression and everything, and it's you're right, he do have that Jay Cutler syndrome where it's just he just shows no emotion. He plays or acts like he doesn't care. He's not engaged. As a rookie, you would think as a rookie you should be. This is the time where you want to be the most engaged. Starting your NBA career. And you having that nonchalant attitude. People and if other fans seeing that and not buying into it, that's not a good look for the Lakers organization. I know Magic better pull him to the side and be like, look, man, look, you better XYZ do something. Because, Lonzo Ball, you keep going down this road, you're just going to end up being considered as a role player, not a star in this league. So, man, better step it up. And LiAngelo, man, please make better decisions. And I hope when he come back, the States, get ready to play his, UCLA career, his 1 year career, which I'm assuming, but I think he might stay for another year. He should. But I just feel bad for him making this dumb decision, man. He just have to make better decisions, man. Like, please, young brother, make better decisions. You in a great position right now, man. Your dad is setting you up for your brand, and you and your brothers, like, don't mess this up, man. Do not mess this up, because you do not want, you don't want this to mess up your future, man. As young as he is.
Facts. Good point. What about you, Ken? Give us your take on LiAngelo and Lonzo.
LiAngelo, man. You let Nas down, man. You can't go over there, man, trying to steal from the Chinese, man. You just can't do that.
In the communist country.
Right. You may be of similar color tone to them, but that's about it. You find your ass strapped up somewhere, getting a bamboo stick on your back. We praised LeVar Ball for the job that he did raising these kids. He managed to do a great job getting them to college, and one went out and made a boneheaded mistake. I think LeVar should definitely take it a lot more serious than he did. His nonchalant attitude wasn't the right approach, but it doesn't matter. Those are his kids. It's up to him on how he want to look at it and how he wants to handle it. But I know if that was me, I would have been over there. I would have had Rosetta Stone on my iPhone on my way to China, trying to get my kids from out of there and letting them know that I'll take care of it, because I would take care of it. I won't hold this against him, because LiAngelo is of age to make his own decisions. But I got to be honest, man, the optics of it didn't sit well with me, because we had a nuclear family, a guy that's running his own business that raised three black men, three black boys to be men, and they've stayed out of trouble. Like, they were beating the system. And then you go out and do something like this. It was disappointing, man. It was very discouraging, because you play into the stereotype that exists out there. And I'm sure there were a lot of people out there saying that, see, they're all the same. They're all the same. And that was the one takeaway that I took from it, is that, when people look at this, to them it's just, there go another nigga. And Lonzo did a good job of outside of his theatrics and everything like that, avoiding that. Hopefully they take it serious and they learn from this mistake and they move forward, because nothing in this world is given, and anything that you've gotten can be taken away just like that. And they were in a situation where that very well could have happened, because they could still be over there and in jail for 5 to 10 years. And just like that, their whole world shut down. And that's that, man. I'll just leave it at that, man. That I was just, I'll let LeVar handle his kids and how he wants to raise them. But for me, just looking at it from a macro perspective of how this just plays out, I just didn't like the way that it looked, and that it played into just what people are already saying about black men and black people in general. And that was disappointing for me.
Yeah, I agree, Ken. I felt the same way. I was 18 once, I did dumb stuff at 18. I even stole something at 18. Or I think maybe I might have been 17. And looking back on it now, I stole some road signs. Don't ask why. Which are still at my mom's house, by the way. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, me and my buddies, man, we just decided to steal some road signs. We stole some, and what was funny was we stole some road signs, threw them in the back of the car, and then we happened to get profiled, and the cops followed us home. And when I tell you that was like the longest 5-minute drive ever. But my thing with that is we as kids, we do dumb stuff, but I was old enough to know better. And LiAngelo was old enough to know better, as well as his two other teammates. And then here's the thing too, Ken, and it touches on what you said. And I was thinking the same thing. LiAngelo's 6'5"? His other two teammates, I think, are like 6'8", 6'10". You're in China. 3 tall black men. You think they weren't watching you when you came in the store? I mean, come on, man. I think I can go without saying that the 4 of us have all been profiled at one point in time or another in a store. And maybe not profiled as the point where somebody accused us of stealing something, but they've watched us. That happens. Unfortunately, it's a part of the world that we live in, and you got to know better. Now, I will say this much, they really should be thankful because, for all intents and purposes, they still could be sitting in a jail in China. And you when you commit crimes, if that happened in West Hollywood, it's a slap on the wrist. They get arrested, they get bailed out, community service, no problem. But, they could still be over there. And, at the time of this recording, they are back in the United States. So, hopefully it's a lesson learned. I heard talk that, and I'm almost certain that they're going to be suspended by UCLA in some shape or form or another. I don't think they will be expelled. I heard that floating around. But that's a possibility. But I did hear that they are having a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And my guess is that if they're going to be at the press conference and they're going to read a statement, then they're still on the team. I don't think that if they were getting kicked off the team that they would be at the press conference. As far as Lonzo, man, I don't really know what to say. I don't. People are saying that he should change his shot. He's been shooting that way all of his life, so I don't really know that. And again, like FIFO made a good point. He's 6'5", 6'6". I'm pretty sure when he was in high school and definitely in college, whoever was playing against him probably didn't have to, they probably couldn't, he was too big, or maybe they weren't quick enough to close out on his shot to block his shot. But, hey, this is the NBA now. You're playing against guys just as big, if not bigger, guys who are fast. Give it some time. I had a couple people ask me if I thought, Lonzo was a bust, and I'm like, he ain't played 20 games yet. Let's give him some time. Jury's still out. I don't think, to Ken's point that he made earlier, I don't think Lonzo's going to be a superstar like that. But, I didn't think John Wall was going to be a superstar, and he is. So, sometimes it just takes time. And, we don't know. The rumor mill has LeBron coming to LA next year. How much better could Lonzo Ball be if he was playing alongside LeBron? So you just never know. So I'm not going to throw dirt on the kid just yet. I think the only piece of advice I would give to him is to not let his shots or the fact that his shots aren't falling get in his head. And I know that that's easier said than done. And FIFO said the key word, confidence. And, as much as we'd like to think that, these guys make it to the NBA that they don't lack confidence, I'm pretty sure they go through their moments where the shot's not falling and they're, they may be second guessing themselves. So, I don't know, man. I think he's going to be okay. I think there's a lot of pressure, but the Lakers aren't going to win anything this year. And, I think they'll be okay. I'm interested to see how LiAngelo situation works out. I'm pretty sure, whatever suspension that he's handed, LeVar's not going to be happy. But what can LeVar say? I'm going to take my kid off of UCLA's team. Okay, fine. So we'll see how that plays out. Speaking of the NBA, man, since the last time we spoke, man, we had a milestone happen in the NBA. My man Greg Popovich passed Phil Jackson for all-time wins as a coach. So it got me to thinking, man. And we had a debate on Twitter whether or not it would be Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson. So, Ken, if you had a chance to pick a coach, man, who would you pick? Who do you think had the better run, Phil Jackson or Greg Popovich, and why?
Oh wow. I mean, my favorite coach is Pop. So I would pick him, and I think his recent political stances just added to that. I loved him before all of that. I didn't need him to do that for him to be a great, outstanding coach. That also just showed me where he stands as a man, and as a veteran of this country, he's to be applauded for that as well. Man, I wow. Like the way you phrased it towards the end, like who had the better run, is kind of where I got a little tripped up because Pop never won back-to-back titles like that. Most of his was spread throughout his tenure with Tim Duncan, and but what we've seen with Pop over the years, especially since Tim entered the twilight of his career, and he's had to essentially rebuild with Kawhi, is that this man can win with anybody, and he needs like that one guy, and he can kind of build everything around that. And I mean, he got guys out there that we've never even heard of, winning
from places
games
we never heard of.
Yeah, it's really, really incredible to watch in a league that's built around superstars, where you need a superstar or multiple superstars to win. Pop had Tim Duncan, and then he had David Robinson, and then he had pieces around him. Eventually, it went from Tim Duncan to Tony Parker, Manu
Tony Parker,
Ginobili.
Kawhi,
and these were late round draft picks. These were not lottery picks. They were drafted late, and they became superstars. So that system, what they have there, and their ability to develop, and Pop's coaching, man, puts him at a level that we haven't seen in quite some time, and he's still winning, and it's incredible. I see some of that in Brad Stevens too. And it's really playing out this year. Yeah. He's winning with and without Kawhi. But man, damn. Give me Pop, man. Give me Pop. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Pop, man. I just,
you know what, Ken? Let me give you a couple of numbers, and I might change your mind, maybe not. Right now, like I said, he passed Phil Jackson. He's now sixth at 11. At the time he passed him, and he beat him at 1,156 wins. Now, of the coaches in the top 10, and like I say, Pop is sixth. Ahead of him is George Karl, Pat Riley, Jerry Sloan, Lenny Wilkins, and Don Nelson. Don Nelson is the longtime winningest coach at 1,335. Now, of the top 10, Pop has the second highest winning percentage at 69.4%, behind Phil. Phil's at 70.4. Pop's 166 playoff victories is the third most behind Phil at 229, and Pat Riley at 171. So before I move it to the fellas, Ken, I'm going to throw it back to you for one more question. If you give Pop what Phil had, meaning Jordan in his prime, Kobe in his prime, Shaq, Phil finished with 11 rings. You give Pop those teams, how many rings does Pop have?
Just as many. As many. Yeah, I think he'll be right up there. I mean, look, let's not disrespect the great Tim Duncan. He is the best power forward to ever play the game. It's not like he didn't have like he did it with a B grade star. Jordan is Jordan, Shaq is Shaq, Kobe is Kobe, Pippen is Pippen. Tim Duncan is right there. He's better than Pippen, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like,
right. I got you.
There's Jordan, there's Shaq, there's Kobe, there's Tim Duncan. So he had like one of the best players of all time at that 4 position, and he won 5 rings with him. So at the end of the day, you still need a guy, and he had a guy, and he got it done. So you give him LeBron James. Can you imagine what Pop would have done with LeBron? Man, I don't even want to go there. But
I don't think Pop ever had less than 50 wins. I don't think, and I'll pull it up. I don't think he's ever had less than 50 wins, and I'm almost certain he may have missed the playoff once. I don't know that he's missed the playoffs more than 2 or 3 times in his tenure.
Right, he's done it within the organization. He's done it with the pieces he had. He didn't jump to LA because he had the pieces to win. Like, he took the pieces that he had and he made it work. So yeah, I'll take Pop, man, because I know he can make something out of nothing when he has to.
True indeed. What about you, B? Greg Pop or Phil Jackson, man? Who had the better run?
Man, better run. Jesus. I mean, if I'm putting personal in it. I'm sorry. I'm putting personal preference. So, personal preference would be Greg Pop. I mean, just because, from the late 90s to pretty much now, Greg Pop won in a quote unquote LeBron Shaq era and LeBron James era. Like he won in pretty much like 2 eras. Yeah, and granted, he didn't win back to back, but the years that they didn't win, there was always a 1, 2, or 3 seed. They was always either in the Western Conference Finals. Rarely Greg Pop get eliminated in the first round, but you always saw Greg Pop in that semifinals, Western Conference Finals, or finals, like every single season. And I think Kyle might be right. I don't think he's never had.
I got to pull it up. He had one season where he was under 500. That was his rookie year as a coach in 1996.
Right.
He was 17-46. Excuse me, 17-47. And if I'm not mistaken, that following year they drafted Tim Duncan, I think.
Right. Yep. They drafted Tim Duncan out of Wake Forest that year, 97, because he got drafted in 97. So yeah, like this dude has been
never nothing less than 50 wins. I'm looking at it right now. Well, other than the strike shortened season, but he had 37.
That's insane, dude. That's pretty insane. And and granted, of course, we look at the Phil Jackson. It's like, okay, yes, you had what many will say arguably the greatest player of all time in Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Then you had, people argue one of the greatest duels of all time in Kobe and Shaq. You three-peated with that. But man, Greg Pop, just and I'm just looking just from a consistency standpoint, man, like this dude is every year, whenever we talk about all the glitz and glamour teams, it's like, here comes San Antonio right there. Just think, they was close. If Kawhi Leonard didn't get injured last season, we would have been probably looking at a Cavs versus Spurs finals, because Spurs was looking like they was about to give and at the time Golden State was undefeated throughout the playoffs when they met up with San Antonio in the West Conference Finals. So it's like, and they was whooping their ass. But I mean, beating them really good until Kawhi Leonard got injured, unfortunately. And it's just like you said, year in, year out, Greg Pop is winning with guys sometimes we never even heard of before. The way he's drafting, the way he's getting these players and turning them into like, who is this dude? Now you got him looking like a guy that belongs in the NBA with 9 superstars. Like you said, you got that. You build around Tim Duncan and put all the pieces around him, and you was managed to win in a Kobe/LeBron era throughout all these years, man. That's crazy. And Shaq. It's just like, yeah, if it wasn't going through, if the West wasn't going through the Lakers, it was going through San Antonio. Like, that's how it was, and it's been like that for pretty much almost 2 decades, man, which is insane. It's insane. 'Cause even, we've been seeing Golden State dominate, but we still be like, well, don't forget about San Antonio. Like, on a bad night, Greg Pop can he can out coach it and come up with some schemes. And, you see what he did with LeBron James in the Miami Heat squad, whooped them up and gave him a gentleman sweep. before LeBron went back to Cleveland. It's just like, dang, like, took out my Pistons the second year. We was trying to go for our repeat, and took us out. They stopped us from getting our repeat in 2005. So, yeah, man, they got bodies, man. Like Greg Pop, they have. I'm just saying, if you just look at everybody they defeated throughout the last 20 years, they have bodies, man. It's like, Jesus, Phil don't have that. I mean, got past the Pistons, but after that, like you said, we've always argued like Bulls teams, the teams they was playing in the finals is nowhere near the competition level of what LeBron James had to face or what Kobe Bryant has to face in the finals. So I don't know, man. I might have to give it to Greg Pop, man. That's just a personal preference. I made my case of why, but I just got to go with Greg Pop. Got to go with Greg Pop on that one.
Okay. What about you, FIFO? Which one you think had the better run, man? FIFO, not FIFO, Phil or Popovich?
All y'all motherfuckers crazy.
But here comes Chicago.
I knew it.
Here comes Chicago.
Yeah. Nah. I'm going with Pop though. I'm going with Pop for one reason, and it's not the only reason, but the main reason. Not even that. Come on, man. I'm not that petty. I am not that petty. Nah, look, adaptability. Phil Jackson was not adaptable, and we seen it as a GM. He wants to run the triangle. He is antiquated. That is the problem with Phil Jackson. Greg Popovich, on the other hand, no matter what you gave him, he's going to make it work. He was able to maximize the player. Look, what was Danny Green? Danny Green was barely drafted, played for Cleveland, couldn't get in the rotation. He goes to San Antonio. He is a key component to winning.
Right.
And in San Antonio. If you go to San Antonio and you cannot contribute, to me, you don't belong in the NBA. Because if Pop can't maximize you, nobody can maximize you. So for me, look, obviously 11 championships is extremely polarizing. Do I ever think another coach is going to get that? Hell no. Phil Jackson, I don't want to say he was lucky, but he was prepared and the opportunity came. And 2 opportunities to coach the 2 best shooting guards to ever play the game. To me, the best big man to ever play the game that I've physically watched. I know everybody could argue Shaq, but Phil Jackson was just at the right place at the right time. And he had a system that allowed the talent he had to thrive. But we've never seen him have to do it without, I guess he did do it without Jordan and still made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with Pippen. They still won 55 games that year without Jordan. But obviously they didn't win a championship. Obviously they weren't the same team. Michael Jordan was the difference. But, when I look at Popovich, man, he has done it with 1 guy, 2 guys. Like Ken said, guys drafted in the 20s and the 15s out of the lottery. So to me, that shows more of true coaching versus a system. There's system coaches like a D'Antoni, like a Phil Jackson, where there's one thing that they know, they preach it, they're going to draft guys for it. Popovich don't draft guys for a particular system. Popovich draft guys that can play ball, and I will figure how to use you best. And to me, that's what true coaching is. It's not about always getting the most talent. It's about being able to make everybody play well together. And that is the one thing that Popovich does best out of any other coach I've ever watched play or watch coach in the NBA. And I'm not going to say, I think there's other guys up there. Don Nelson was one I think is highly underrated. It was way before his time. But Popovich, man, for the most part, I look, and Ken said it too. Like, it's not like he did it with chopped liver. Like, he did it with Tim Duncan. He did it with David Robinson. Both of those guys were very high draft picks. But beyond them, who else was? Kawhi wasn't. Kawhi was drafted outside of the lottery. Right. And he only gave up George Hill to get him. Sean Elliott was a key component. He wasn't drafted high. Avery Johnson was not drafted high.
Yes.
So when we look at these teams that were put together for San Antonio during his run, it did not have the same level of individual talent that other teams did. And he still, like you said, Kyle, with the receipts, 50 plus games. What's the secret sauce? It's Popovich. Popovich is the secret sauce, so I'm taking Pop.
Yeah, I gotta agree, man. And I think, and it's no knock on Phil. I think Phil did a phenomenal job. Regardless of how people feel about him, he'll go down obviously as one of the greatest. Some people still view him as the all-time great. But I look at Phil's 11 rings, and if I give Pop those teams that Phil has, I think Pop might come away with 14, 15 rings. And again, it's no knock on Phil, but because I think Phil came through at a time where, he was one of the things that I always liked about Phil is that he was very good at managing, talent and personalities, and finding ways to motivate guys. You look at that season where the Bulls went 72-10 and, Rodman gets suspended for 10 games and, finding ways to keep guys motivated and tuned in and plugged in. It's a very lost art as far as coaching goes. But that being said, you give Pop you give Pop Jordan and Pippen. It's scary as to what they would do, not just on the offensive end, but the defensive end as well. And I just think, I'm very impressed with what Popovich, and like you said, Ken, his speaking on social issues is just like really the icing on the cake for me. But I think when it comes to X's and O's, there's not anybody better. And I think if I'll put it like this, if a series is tied and I'm going to Game 7 and I needed, one coach, I'm taking Pop. I'm taking Pop over everybody. Phil, I don't think Phil is gonna rely on the X's and O's to get me to win. I think Phil would rely on Kobe, or he'd rely on Jordan or Shaq. Pop, again, he got it done with. Think about it. Guys like Ginobili, we'd never heard of these guys. I saw Kawhi Leonard play in college, but I barely remember him. And this guy's a perennial all-star. And it's not. Some people will say it's I don't even think it's the system. It's Pop. Pop is the X factor, and we all wondered how San Antonio would look after Tim Duncan retired. Look at them, like B said. They're at the very least, if Kawhi doesn't go out, we're probably looking at a 6, maybe 7 game series with the Warriors. And give me Pop, give me Pop all day. I'm taking Greg Popovich every single time. Now we're coming to the conclusion of the podcast. As we always mention, man, we definitely thank you all for tuning in and hitting us up. Make sure that if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. Little game we like to play, man. Before we close out, one gotta go. This is not from me. This is from the homie Eclectic on Twitter. You can follow him at Eclectic on Twitter, or you can follow at one gotta go. So we give you a couple of topics or a couple of it's 4 things, 4 choices to make. You pick one, to leave forever. And it's pretty simple, So when you see it on Twitter, shed a love, if you will. So I got a couple here. Let's go NBA. Let's go. Ken, I'll start with you first. NBA power forwards. All right. Chris Webber. Shawn Kemp. Larry Johnson. Kevin Garnett. One gotta go.
Damn, grandmama. Man, Weber was so nasty, man. Like, it's almost like he was ahead of his time with the things that he could do on the court. Then Shawn Kemp, the Rain Man. And man, come on, man, KG, man, like,
right?
You need a guy like that on your squad. So, let's get rid of the guy wearing the wigs. The first Tyler Perry.
He wasn't he? FIFA, what about you, man? One got to go. Chris Webber, Shawn Kemp, Larry Johnson, and KG.
The one I gotta go is Shawn Kemp. And I was a big look, Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp, Dale Ellis, deadlift strength.
Nate
I'll name the
McMillan.
squad. Nate McMillan. I'll name the squad. I love that squad. But the only reason I'm letting him go is longevity. The other guys outlasted him.
I completely agree with people. Completely agree.
Ed too, Beezy?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm picking Sean Kemp too, because once the NBA had that lockout, he gained that weight.
It was a wrap.
He did.
It was a wrap.
Hey, that dude was eating
cheeseburgers. I gotta base it off. I gotta go off longevity, man.
Okay,
I got at least with Larry Johnson, we saw his old man game. Like we saw
did.
When the athletic went away.
Yep.
We saw his old man game in those later Knicks years.
Threes in the
He was
playoffs.
shooting threes. That's right.
Yep.
So I got it. Sean Kemp got to go for me. I completely agree with FIFO.
Oh my God.
Okay. I'm agreeing with Ken, man. I got to get rid of Grandmama. Phenomenal player though, man. Phenomenal, especially in the NBA, man. He,
for balling.
Yeah, and I think Larry Johnson, man, could have been even better had he not got his back hurt. But yeah, but Weber, Sean Kemp, KG, I can't touch him. I can't touch him.
Wait a damn minute.
What's up?
Shout out to Basketball Reference. Y'all tripping. Sean Kemp played way more games than Larry Johnson. Longevity, my behind.
But
that's because he came out of high school though.
Exactly, and Larry Johnson played more meaningful games than Sean Kemp did. Larry Johnson had more moments than Sean Kemp did. Larry Johnson was an old man in the NBA. Sean Kemp went too early. By the time he was playing for the Cavs, it was a wrap for Sean Kemp.
Larry Johnson was an old man. Larry Johnson was an old man after 5 seasons. Isn't that when he went to New York?
He hurt his back when he signed that
contract.
He
was still balling. We saw his old man game.
Yep.
12 and 5.
And he was clutch. Outside of that dunk that Sean Kemp had on Chris Gatlin of the Golden State Warriors, what big moment has Sean Kemp had?
But hold on. FIFO, come on. FIFO, go back to the finals. Go back to the finals. He was giving them the work now.
Man, come on, man. Come on, man. But he didn't have no moments. Name me a Sean Kemp moment outside of the Chris.
You don't remember the slam dunk contest?
I'm talking about in game. Give me an in-game moment outside of the dunk on Chris Gatlin that Sean Kemp had. I'll wait.
He had plenty of moments.
Sean Kemp played 14 seasons. Let's take away the 3, the last in Orlando and the 2 in Portland. So that puts him at, what, 11?
11.
And Johnson played 10.
Okay.
And his last year in New York.
Who was more impactful? All I'm saying is Larry Johnson had big moments with New York. He was what was it, like the second overall 8 seed to make it to the finals? Larry Johnson was a big part of that. He made big shots against Miami. Come on, man. Like, what are we talking about here? Larry Johnson, at the end of his career, obviously he wasn't the guy no more, right? Like he wasn't the guy. But this guy had moments. He had key moments in playoff games. Look. Since you're on Basketball Reference, Ken, look at their playoff numbers, and I'll wait.
Okay.
Especially, and how many seasons did Sean Kemp even play in the playoffs?
He had 7. He had 8 years. Wait, actually, yeah, he played 7, 8, 9, 10.
He played 10 years in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Now, look, he rode the coattails of Orlando and Portland. So I'll give him 8. So we're taking away Portland and Orlando, so that's 8. Larry Johnson playoffs, 6. And 4 of those was with New York, the time period that you two were talking about, and he went twice with Charlotte.
Yep.
Sean Kemp, though.
And Charlotte was a young team. A young Lonzo Mourning, young Larry Johnson. Muggsy was, I guess a little older. They had Dell Curry. Come on, man. You tripping.
And Sean Kemp from age 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eight straight years in the playoffs, 7 with Seattle as the man. Come on, man.
Sean Kemp was the man?
Him and Gary Payton?
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
I put it to you like this. If you take Sean Kemp off of that roster, that's still a playoff team. You take Gary Payton off of that roster?
Yep, I agree.
I don't know.
I agree.
The games were different. But they're not a final team.
The games was different.
Well, Peyton was... Look, Peyton was the...
Man, let's move on. Man. We'll be arguing this all day. Oh, man, I just lost it. Let's go... You know what, man? Let's take it to pop culture. Let's go movie villains. B, I'll start first with you. Movie villains. Doughboy from Boys in the Hood. Old Dog from Menace to Society. Rico, played by Cameron, Paid in Full. Or Bishop, Juice. One got to go.
Cam, Rico.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta go with Rico on that one, man.
Cam played that role.
And maybe it's a little nostalgic for me because all the rest of them is like back in the days for me. So it's like Doughboy, Old Dog, like all that is nostalgic for me. So yeah, by the time Cameron, Rico, I'm already in my 20s watching that. So it's, maybe the other ones, but Bishop was iconic. Like all those other three was like freaking iconic, man. I don't know if we really looking at Cameron playing Rico as iconic as Old Dog, Doughboy, and Bishop. Nah, that's the easy pick for me. Yeah, gotcha, Cameron.
Gotcha. What about you, FIFO?
And the acting was the least. Cameron acting was it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible.
I thought it was pretty good, man.
It wasn't touching Cube, Tupac, and Lorenz Tate. No.
No doubt. What about you, FIFO? Doughboy, Old Dog, Rico, or Bishop?
I'm with B on this one too. The other three characters are just more iconic. Cameron did an amazing job because Paid in Full is one of my favorite movies too. But he just doesn't measure up to the other three. And he was a grimy mug too.
Yeah, he was.
That dude, man. That's 13 bricks right there in that bag right there, man. But nah, I gotta let Rico go.
What about you, Ken?
Yeah, I agree. Rico, let's get him up out of here because much like Ralph, Paid in Full really kind of became like a hood classic, and it didn't really break mainstream like that. And and Paid in Full is kind of whack anyway. So
you tripping?
Nah, Paid in Full is a good movie, man. It's a good movie.
Tripping like a motherfucker.
Hey, my favorite line: "Pull your skirt down, B." That was my favorite line. Cameron was on it. He's like, "Pull your skirt down, B." Yeah, I got to get rid of Cameron. And again, I thought, like you said, it wasn't as iconic as the other roles, but I was very impressed, man. When I heard about the movie, I'm like, Cameron, what is Cameron gonna play? But nah, he did his thing, man. He definitely did his thing. All right, I got two more. Let's go back to the NFL. FIFO, running backs. Let's go Le'Veon Bell, Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, and what's my man name right here? I forgot his name just that fast. Running back from Buffalo. What's the kid's name?
LaShawn
McCoy. How I draw a blank. So Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, Fournette, and LaShawn McCoy. Which one got to go?
Take Shady out of here.
Oh, no more Shady.
Nah, because the other three are overall better backs. Now Shady got the shake and bake. He don't really run between the tackles like that. He's a little bit more finesse than power. He can make you shake, and he got to the house. But when you look at Todd Gurley, that's a physical specimen. He could do it all. He jump over you, run through you, catch the ball, flip over you. It don't matter, and then you're not gonna catch him. Leonard Fournette, hit him in the A gap and move the hell out the way. That's the type of running back that's easy to build the offense around. Just give him the ball. No matter where you give him the ball. And then Le'Veon Bell. The reason why I can't get rid of him is because I've been watching the NFL for a very long time, and I've never seen a running back be able to run the way he runs the ball. Like it's weird because it's almost like he's too patient. It's almost like he's always just jumping. It's like he's not even running. It's like he's jumping around. Like, okay, whoop-de-doo, where am I gonna go? Oh, there I go, and he's out of there. I can't explain it. I don't know how he does it, but Shady got to go.
Okay. What about you, B? Gurley, Fournette, Shady, or Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, Shady, just off the simple fact, I think he's probably like the oldest out of the rest of these backs. He got his time in. He's a vet. He got his stripes. But I just think knowing him improve, busting through the scene, I think the rest of these backs, Gurley, I think Leonard Fournette, I think he's going to be a good bet. As long as he stay healthy, I think he's going to be one of the premier backs in the next 5 to 7 years. Just Shady McCoy. I just think he's the oldest one out of all of them. I think he's about to be on his way down. So I got to go with Shady McCoy.
What about you, Ken?
Yeah, I concur, man. Look, I've been saying it on this program for some time, man. People don't talk about Fournette enough. We talking about the new AP. That dude is the truth, man. And Gurley, after a down year, he's showing his talent this year. Mixture of speed and power, almost like a new I don't even want to say Eric Dickerson, but yeah, he got that nice blend of power and speed. Man, FIFO is playing the best with LaShawn McCoy. I mean, not LaShawn McCoy, but Le'Veon Bell, man, like Mr. Toe Tap himself. Like you don't know what you're gonna do with him, man. You reaching for ankles that won't be there. McCoy's having a down year this year. I blame coaching, not necessarily his talent or lack thereof. But yeah, man, you get him in open space, man, you're in trouble. If you come in to try to tackle him, it's not going to happen. But compared to everybody else, like he needs like more around him in order to be successful. And I think the others can kind of make stuff happen a little bit more on their own than he can.
Okay. Yeah, I'll complete the group, man. I got to get rid of Shady. I think he's probably on the downside. He had a great run, like B said. He's got his stripes for sure. But Gurley, I mean, we didn't know what Gurley was going to be after he tore his knee, but I mean, he's come back better than ever. Fournette is the truth, and Bell is special. Like FIFO said, you don't see backs run like that. I mean, it's unreal. And the success, I think, this year of the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to depend on, not just whether or not Ben can, navigate them down the field. But if you've got a great Le'Veon Bell running the ball, I think they got just as good a chance as anybody is knocking off the Patriots. So I'm interested to see how that plays out in the playoffs. Last one, let's go hip hop. Hip hop cruise. Let's see. We start first with FIFO. Let's go. One got to go. Def Squad, G Unit, The Locks, Dipset. One got to go.
Def Squad. Who's in Def Squad?
Def Squad. That would be Keith Murray, Redman, Eric Sermon.
I'm gonna have to say G Unit, even though I really
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the G Unit. G Unit was hot, but the way Game tore them boys apart, oh man, like you can't say the same for the other groups. Nobody like ever really came at them other groups like that, and if they did, it really wouldn't be that good for them. The fact that Game survived and he dropped 500, look for everybody listening. If you haven't heard 500 bars by the Game, oh my God, I don't. I think that's a very underrated diss record. Like people don't talk about it as one of the greatest diss records. But anyway, Dipset, man, they killed the late 90s, early 2000s.
They did.
Man. Like they beats and just their whole swag, just like their whole movement. Nobody was really moving like that. The Locks, they still making music. You know what I'm saying? Jada is one of the most underrated, one of my favorite all time. So I'm definitely not moving the Locks. And then Def Squad, all three of them dudes is OGs, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so nah. G Unit had the weakest crew because I'm just being honest. Outside of 50, Lloyd Banks was nice, but he only had a little run, and Tony Yayo was strictly the homie. So hell nah.
He was the shooter.
He man, get G Unit out of here. G Unit.
Okay. What about you, B? Def Squad, G Unit, the Locks.
How about G Unit? You ain't got to finish.
What about you, Ken?
Man, yeah. I'm proud of you, Ralph. I thought you were gonna get rid of Def Squad, man. I thought we were gonna have to have words.
Nah, man. Nah.
Yeah, man. G Unit gotta go. I mean, when they released 2 lackluster albums that didn't live up to par, and then they just disbanded, and we saw like separate, they just were not up to snuff. So nah. They had to run, but get them out of here.
Man, I'm gonna get rid of G Unit too, but it came as a caveat. If G Unit had kept Game, I probably would have got rid of Dipset. But since they didn't keep Game, because I wasn't like a big fan of Dipset, but here's the thing that always,
I said me either.
Yeah, here's the thing that always impressed me about Dipset, and it goes back to what FIFA just said. Like that late 90s or early 2000s, the little 4 or 5 year run that Dipset had, it wasn't too many crews that was touching them. Regardless of whether or not you liked them or not, man, Jim Jones and Camp, the run that they had was a pretty dope run. And I think, particularly, and it wasn't until I had a couple of conversations with, some cats that follow us on Twitter, because there was a younger generation of hip hop fans who got into, I had some people tell me look, Dipset was their introduction to hip hop. I was like, wow, damn, that's crazy. And you never really think about it like that. But yeah, I'm getting rid of G Unit, because if you take 50 away, that, like you said, Ken, that first album was okay. The second album, and I don't even remember Lloyd Banks' album. And Young Buck his album was okay. I don't remember the Tony Yayo album. Did he ever have a solo album? If he did, I never listened to it. So
I think he did. I have to check and see.
So anyway, that's one got to go, man. Shout out to the homie Eclectic. Now it is time for our closing thoughts. Just some parting shots to end the podcast. FIFO, you're up first.
Damn. Where do I go? Where do I go? I know where I'm gonna go. Because you know what? FIFO logic is extremely great. And for those that go by FIFO logic, I applaud you because I went against my own damn logic. And you know what, man? Never again will I go against my own damn logic. You cannot trust no motherfucking Georgia team. Not a one of them. Not a one. I am so pissed off because you know what? I started this year off truly believing the Falcons and the Bulldogs were the real deal. Now, the Bulldogs they can still come back. They're either going to play Alabama or Auburn again, and they can make their redemption. They can make it to the playoffs, and they can make it to the championship. But they weren't supposed to lose, first and foremost. And second of all, if you're going to lose, you can't lose like that. You got to lose on some field goal last second. You got to lose on some fumble. You got to lose on some BS. You can't lose like that. You can't lose like that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Nah, man. You can't trust no Georgia teams. I'm going to leave it there before I just go in. Because I'm going to lose it. I'm a damn lose it.
No doubt. No doubt. What about you, B? Your final thought?
My final thought is I'm just really excited for the young NBA stars that's in the league. I think looking at a post LeBron, post Durant era, I think the NBA is in good hands, man, with a lot of group of young talent, young superstars that we got coming into this league. That's in the league right now, rookie, second year, third year guys or whatever. I think the NBA is in good hands, man. And I always like when we start seeing the transition of, the era of superstars, we've seen it, from the Dr. J's to the Isaiah Thomases to the Grant Hills, Pennies, the T-Max, Jason Kidds, to, just to keep seeing the torch, the Kobe's and the LeBrons, the D-Wade, like we just keep seeing that the passing of the era of the superstars, and I think we starting to kind of see that transition now, just from like last year and these next like 3-4 years, man. We're gonna really start seeing the transition of the next era of superstars in the league, and I think the NBA is in good hands, man. I think with the young group of superstars that's in this league, man. So I'm happy about it, man. I'm happy about the NBA right now.
True indeed. True indeed. Same here. What about you, Ken?
Papa John's.
Ah, yes.
Oh, Papa John's. Good timing, because tonight they issued a statement apologizing for their divisive comments about their declining sales and blaming it on the NFL and the protest. They tweeted, "The statements made on our earnings call were describing the factors that impact our business, and we sincerely apologize to anyone that thought they were divisive. That definitely was not our intention. We believe in the right to protest inequality and support the players' movement." I'm surprised they actually said inequality, but okay. "To create a new platform for change. We also believe together as Americans we should honor our anthem. There is a way to do both. We will work with the players and league to find a positive way forward, open to ideas from all except neo-Nazis, middle finger those guys." I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I don't. Great statement. I don't know who wrote it, but good job. Love the little keywords you dropped in there. Protest inequality, believing in the right, supporting the players' move to create a new platform, work with the players to find a positive way forward. Yeah, okay. All right. Sure you are. You said what you meant, and you meant what you said. You are trying to correct the miss. I don't even know if he misspoke. You're just trying to fix this backlash that you've received. I told my entire family, and I tweeted this, and Kyle, you had already been boycotting them, but I made it public that we were not supporting them anymore. I told the missus to hit the group thread and tell the whole family, and it shows that when we take a stand, we can also impact change on our end. I want to watch the NFL, but this is my way of boycotting, and I think my story isn't being told enough. We all hear about the story from last year of when people that said they were going to boycott it because the players are protesting. What about guys like me who are boycotting this year, impacting the ratings because of what they did to Colin Kaepernick? So there's both sides to both stories, and that's why the ratings are the way they are. Papa John's believed in money more than the players' right to protest, and apparently they forgot that black folks buy pizza too. So
in bunches.
Yeah, and we did buy Papa John's pizza, but no more. And I want to see what they do moving forward. Because Kyle, you reminded me about what he said about Obama. I totally forgot about that and the whole healthcare thing. And that just you just reminded me about that, and that added more to it. But I want to see what they're going to do. Are you going to live up to the words you tweeted tonight? Because action speaks louder than words. Kaepernick has actions behind his kneeling, and that's why we take him serious. And I want to see what Papa John's do. And once I see that, then I will make a decision on whether or not I will pass the word for us to lift our boycott, our family-wide boycott of Papa John's. Thankfully, my son likes Pizza Hut more than Papa John's anyway. So there's that. But yeah, great statement, well written, but I'll rather see it in action than read it.
No doubt. My final thought, man, goes back to the man that you just mentioned, man, Colin Kaepernick. Again, gotta salute GQ magazine for naming him the Citizen of the Year. I think a lot of times, we would always hear when we were coming up, you got to stand up for something. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. We've talked about Colin, ad nauseum on this podcast. But again, I want to thank him for standing up for something that he believed in. And more importantly, his silence has, really changed a lot, because even in his silence, he said a lot, because his message hasn't been distorted. His message has always been the same. It's always been constant, and it's always been consistent. And at the end of the day, that's all that you can ask for. Now, as much as I would love to see it happen, Colin Kaepernick is not going to get another job in the NFL. And contrary to what Warren Moon decided to say, no, he didn't hurt himself by filing a lawsuit filing a collusion suit against the NFL. He's going to win that, and he's going to get paid. And, he's come to grips with the fact that it may be over for him, and that's okay. It's bigger than the fight. And 15, 20, maybe 30 years from now, you all will look back and understand what it is that he did and how courageous he was in doing it. And you may not love him now, but I'm sure you'll love him 20 years from now. Thanks again for checking out another edition of the Dead End Sports Podcast. We like to do this every week. We drop the podcast every Wednesday. So for B, for Ken, for FIFO, I'm your man, 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Money over bitches.
You stupid, man. 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 You stupid.